Welcome back to another episode of the Conversations with Friends podcast. I'm your host, Bree, and every week I'm having necessary conversations with different friends of the show from all walks of life. So May is here, and I wanted to start the month off by having a conversation about the hardest but most rewarding job there is, and that is being a mom. But more specifically, I wanted to talk to some single mothers just to share our experiences with one another. I have some ladies here with me that shares the throne with me as a single mother, and I'll let y'all introduce yourselves. Whoever wants to go first.
Well, I'm Brittany. I have a 16-year-old son, single mother.
My name's Aaliyah. I am a licensed professional counselor. I have a 10-year-old son.
And my name is Crystal. I am a personal injury attorney, and I have an 11-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter.
And for those of y'all that don't know, I have a 14-year-old son and a 7-year-old son.
So we all got the boy mom struggle.
Boy mom.
I
had thought about that today when I was preparing for the day. I was like, dang, all of us got boys. But I mean, I know you have a girl.
Yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds.
Is that what it is?
was about to say, I feel like that's a gift and a curse.
I don't know. I always wanted a little girl child, but I don't know.
I feel like she would be just like me. And I'm like, I get resemblances of myself with my son. I already be like, So I think a girl would be worse.
Yeah. My son, my 14-year-old, he's a Scorpio. Our birthdays are 3 days apart. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we are very similar. Mm-hmm. But he's a man. You know, he's going to be a man. And so I'll be trying to tell him. Because, I feel like Scorpio men can be a little toxic.
My son's a Scorpio.
But I feel like...
Indeed.
I know the traits that I have as a woman, as a Scorpio... I'm very self-aware, and I can point it out and be like, okay, you can't be that stubborn all the time. You got to change that. But I feel like men don't think that way.
They don't.
And so,
or maybe he just hasn't gotten there yet.
Well, I try to point it out to him. I'm saying I know grown men Scorpios that has never gotten there. So I'm just trying to make sure my son gets there. Mm-hmm. But before we get started, look at us already on the mommy talk. But before we get started, I like to start off with an icebreaker just to get our juices flowing and get us loose a little bit. It's just this or that, a little rapid fire. So, simple or glam?
Simple.
I want to be glam.
So bad.
Real bad.
It's not in me.
But it be getting simple at this age. Passion or money?
Both.
Passion.
Both
I'm with passion now.
Passion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Same. Dreamer or realist?
Realist.
Too much dreaming going on in this world. They be far from reality.
Be for real.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Be effing for real. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Tequila.
Hey.
Neither.
I was like, if I have to choose, but since you gave a third option,
Tequila for 1,000, Alex. TV series or movies?
Series.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Beachside resort or hillside cottage?
Beach me, baby.
Buns out.
Me every time.
Beach
okay. Y'all sleep with the fan on or off?
Must be on the highest
Please,
degree.
Yes.
Every time, even in the winter.
I can't even sleep without a fan
At all.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I just want to say. I always wake up if the fan ain't on. Every single
must
time.
be on.
Girls trip or vacation?
Vacation.
Never had a problem on a vacation.
Hello, these girls trips now.
They be
all over TikTok. I'm nervous.
They either go well or they
don't go. And the vacation, we're only depending on one other person. So versus like 5, 6
the
girls.
couple. Oh, you talking about the girls trip? Let me tell you what's funny about that. A few episodes ago, I had 2 married women on here, and I asked them the same question, and they both was like, girls trip.
That's because they're married.
I was like, wow.
Right.
They're like, I wake up and go to sleep to this man every night.
I need a break from him.
Yeah. Laundry or dishes?
Dishes.
Yep, because laundry is like never ending.
It takes.
I never stop washing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with boys, I never stop washing. But I saw something with like folding your clothes. It usually takes 3 to 5 business days. That's me. I let the clothes sit in the dryer for like at least one day. Then they'll be on a pile in my bed for another few days. I'm
gonna be real. My clothes never get folded. I keep running that dryer over and over again and knock them wrinkles. Like just grab it out of the dryer.
Girl, I'm currently in that last cycle, I took out some clothes out the dryer that's been in there for like 2 days just before I came here. And they're now on my bed, and they probably will be there until maybe Thursday. So hopefully not the weekend. Judge me not. Maid or nanny?
Maid.
Yeah, at this stage it's maid for me because my kids can chill. Yeah, but I'm not trying to see no bathroom that a little boy use. Like, I'm trying to clean it.
Oh my God. I dodge it.
I was telling my friend that she came over to get dressed, and she was like, "Oh, I'll go in Zara's bathroom." I said, "Don't do that,
please don't."
I said, "Please, you can use the guest bathroom, my bathroom, but I don't even know what it looks like.
You never know what you're gonna run into.
I'm not trying to get embarrassed.
Like in there, like please don't."
Them little boys is something else.
It's like just know I raised him better than that. Whatever it looked like.
I didn't do that. One time I was talking about that kind of situation in regards to my son. I was out eating crawfish, and the lady at the next table, she was like, "I'm sorry, are you talking about my son?" I said, "So your son do the same thing too?"
But doesn't it kind of make you feel a little bit better?
Yeah.
It's not me, it's
I'm
them.
like, is this really what I'm just going through?
Right. I'm like, you can't just be this nasty because I know I taught you better than that.
Hello.
Well, it's everybody. Them little boys is nasty.
Yeah.
Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Breakfast.
Breakfast? I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Breakfast.
Because I be liking breakfast for dinner too sometimes.
I have to have a breakfast itch, but dinner, I can go for dinner all the time.
I
don't like breakfast.
I gotta have an
food.
itch.
No.
I don't like syrup. I don't like.
What's wrong with you?
I'm not a sweets eater, so I would like when I get invited to brunch, it has to be someplace that has like a salad or a pasta or something that's not
Give it savory.
sausage, pancakes, and some eggs with cheese. I don't
You don't want
that.
none of that. You eat like shrimp and grits and stuff like that?
I can eat that, but I think it's because more of
It's
like
savory.
the shrimp. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's how. So I didn't grow up eating. I couldn't stand syrup when I was growing up. I didn't start eating syrup and pancakes and waffles until I got grown. But I only like them particular ways. But if you take me to a restaurant for breakfast or brunch, it's never gonna be that. I'm gonna always choose shrimp and grits.
I remember we have a mutual friend, and she used to always want to go to Max's Wine Dive. And that's about the only place I could go because I was like, okay, I can get some fried chicken. I get some greens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with that. But just breakfast food, I'm like, I'll do a mimosa.
So you ain't never ate at Waffle House?
I've gotten like a chicken breast. Their chicken breast is really good.
I like Waffle House, everything, baby.
Now, let me tell you, the All-Star Special at Waffle House can get me every time. I will do that, but I had to start telling them, can you make my waffle light?
Right.
That's the only way I'm gonna eat it. I don't know, because I'm like you. I haven't ever been just a sweet eater like that.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't. But I gotta pray over Waffle House too, because I ain't never been in the clean one.
Right.
Nobody has.
But I think it's part of the experience, the whole Waffle House experience.
Exactly.
You gotta take it
Wondering
as it
if you're gonna
is.
catch staph infection or not.
Child, let me tell you, I know for certain. I think he just don't remember. I had took my son to Waffle House before this time, but we went again. We were in Dallas, and I was like, I'm gonna just take y'all to Waffle House for the morning for breakfast. My oldest son got up in that place, and he was like, I'm not eating here.
Absolutely not.
He was like,
what is wrong with you?
It's dirty. It's a fly.
You've raised me to be too high class for this.
Right. I'm like, boy, if you don't eat these waffles,
this is a legend right here. You don't even know.
This food is good. Shoot. So in regards to the kids in school, would you rather them have like a summer vacation like what we do right now, or a year-round school?
I need
like
summer vacation because it's my summer too, because I don't have to wake up and take you to school early
have to worry about you doing your homework.
Yeah, so it's kind of a vacation for me too. Minus the feeding him more, and I have to create activities. Outside of that, I need a break too.
Yeah,
and I don't know what y'all's situations are like, but my son's dad lives in New York, and my son goes to New York
for the summer.
For a month.
Oh, so you get the whole summer.
My daughter goes with her dad too. So I'd be like right now, I have literally scheduled my entire summer around the month of July. I don't want to see I was like, y'all don't even have to call me. I promise I won't call y'all. Like, if you want to
say, I harass my son when he gone. I'm always calling, what you doing? Did you brush your teeth this morning?
My son acts like I'm getting on his nerves when I hit him up. And the weird thing is my son is a baby. Like, he's such a mama's boy. When he leaves and he goes to New York with his dad,
I'll
call and be like, what's up?
Girl.
Trying to act hard. That's what they do around their daddies. voice. Get the bass out your voice.
That's like when we at home, I'm mommy this, mommy that. Don't be trying to slide in that bro. Who are you talking to?
Exactly.
We're just enjoying it now.
The bro kills me.
That's cap.
Oh my gosh!
I be like, where y'all get this from?
Like, TikTok.
Because on the cool, you trying to tell me that I'm lying, talking about this cap.
No, for real though.
Back in my day, you couldn't call a parent a liar.
No, you couldn't say the word lie in my household growing back. That was disrespectful to say the word. You had to.
How dare you
I'm
think
telling
I'm
a story.
Yeah, I'm telling a story. You had to catch yourself.
All right, last one: Instagram or TikTok?
I don't know how to use TikTok.
Has me in a chokehold right now.
I watch people's TikToks, but I don't create TikTok.
Oh no, I'm a watcher too. I try to create, but I'm a watcher.
So if it's watching, if it's watching TikTok,
because I feel like Instagram after a while I'm starting to see the same thing. I feel like TikTok keeps it. The For You
if
keeps
you
it new and fresh.
TikTok is where it's at.
You get I can't log on to. I have to go on TikTok and do what I need to do and get off because it'll be like hours later and I'm still looking at videos.
I'll be there saving recipes.
That's what I learned so much. I will say I learned so much stuff off of TikTok.
Yeah,
that's why I love TikTok. I feel like in my mind, because we're trying to, for me, I try not to be on social media so much. When I'm on TikTok, I'm learning. So,
that's how you put it in your mind.
Yeah, I'm learning. So it's like I could be on here a little bit longer versus Instagram. It's not always educational. I'm always on the Shade Room or Gossip. But
which are entertaining.
Exactly. So, that's why I got to be on TikTok so I can learn.
Learn
how to cook, learn some new workouts.
That's a good way to look at it.
I'm research. It's
research. I like the way you think. So I know some of our situations, but I know that most single mothers don't start out having a child wanting to be a single mother.
Right.
Nope. That's nothing that you just dream up of being a single mother. Right. So I wanted to know, how did y'all cope with becoming a single mother, at that point when you had to start doing it on your own and break up with the person?
Well, it was a struggle for me in the beginning, mentally, to get prepared to being a single mom, going to work, daycare. So it was like a struggle in the beginning to where if I didn't have my mom to help, I kind of lost my way. So it's like, okay, it's just me and my son. From day one, it's me and my son. So I kind of lost myself in the beginning because I did everything for my son, right? So I wasn't going to get my hair done. So it was just all about my son. His energy, I was consuming him. I needed to make sure I was the best parent. So in the beginning, I kind of lost me for a while. So that's how it started off for me. It's just never dreamed of, growing up. I had wanted to become married, right? Have a child, be with the father, but that's not how my fairy tale went, right?
No,
so starting off in the beginning, it was kind of rocky for me.
I think for me, and I think that you're so blessed you had your mom. My mom is deceased. My mom passed away when I was 14. I don't have a relationship with my dad. They were married, but along the way, me and my sisters have lost our relationship with him. So when I got pregnant with my son, I literally was like, all right, I'm about to have this baby. And I talked to my grandma, and my grandma was like, and I think this is the best advice she could have ever given me. She was like, you need to understand that this is your baby. Whatever the dad does, if y'all are together, whatever, if he participates, you need to make a decision that that this is your kid. And that's what I've done with my son and my daughter. I think, and I don't know if you guys felt like this, I remember being pregnant with my son and being tired and being pregnant and being like, ooh, I can't wait to have my baby so I can do this again and this and this and this. And do you ever do it again?
No.
You never do it again.
Exactly.
It never happens again because I remember being literally scared to leave my house because I'm like, okay, I got to pack this many clothes and diapers and da-da-da-da-da.
Am I leaving something?
Yeah, by the time I thought about it, I was like, well, hell, I might as well just stay home.
Right.
But it's gotten so much easier, and I know you guys have one, but with two, I sometimes miss when they were babies, but it's gotten so much easier.
Yeah.
I feel like I have reclaim some of my life now. Like, I'm here right now. My kids are chilling. They're home. Right. I can do stuff. But definitely at the beginning, I hate using the word trapped, but it almost feels like you're just trapped. Like I can't do anything.
Yeah.
During my time, it was a very pivotal time for my life and also for his father's life. Like, I was 24, 25, I was in my last semester of grad school. I had planned on moving to California. We were ending our relationship. So right around the time that I got pregnant, my son's father, who he was a primary supporter for, she actually got diagnosed with cancer and her health declined very rapidly. So after my son was born, his mother died maybe about 4 months after.
Oh, wow.
So as I'm trying to navigate like parenting, it was a little hard for him to be
through that
present
loss.
because he's dealing with the loss of his mother. He had a sister who was about like 18, 19 who suffers from bipolar disorder as well. So him trying to be present for them because they grew up with just the three of them. Like neither one of the fathers are real active. So that was a lot for him. Yeah. So unfortunately it was harder for him to be present
what you needed
as a father, like the role that I needed him to be. But thank God, I had my mom, my dad who are super supportive. But it was definitely a transition time because, like, I said I'm a counselor. At the time, I was doing like my internship, so I wasn't really getting paid either. So I didn't really have a main source of income. Like, that's what I'm saying with my mama, but I'm still like running the streets. Like, so it's like, wait, wow, I have to get like a career. I probably need to get like health insurance now. So like, it was a lot of transition. So emotionally and physically, he wasn't there. As much as I would have liked him to be there. Like, y'all know those sleepless nights, the toddler, like, I couldn't even, at some point, I couldn't even get like a shower.
Like, I'm awake right now. You should be awake. Like, they tearing my stuff up. They should be tearing your stuff up.
But I like what you said, because my father gave me that advice. But at first I was just like, whatever, he ain't talking. But then I did notice for me, once I fully accepted that, it was a mindset shift, because it let me let go of some of that, like, resentment. Like you said, like, I'm up at like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Well, why you get to be asleep? Yeah. Like, why you get to be chilling at the crib with your partners and I got this baby crying? So, like, for me, once I fully accepted that, it helped my mindset to shift a little bit more. Like, this is me. I got to do this. I know I'm all we got right now, so let's figure it out. And so once my mindset shifted to that, it wasn't as, like, hurting. But, like, the first few months, it was like, again, I ain't signed up for this by myself.
I think you kind of get to a space too where, like, like, it just is what it is. Like, I can't check out. I can't not feel like it today. I can't do any of those things. But yeah, you just have to. So I don't know if it's a once you accept it type thing, but once you accept that this is the reality of it, you just do what you have to do. But I think that that's the great thing about women. We just figure it out.
Right. We tie up our bootstraps and keep it moving.
Make it do, baby.
I was angry, me. I was real angry. Whenever I don't know. I feel like my pregnancy was so difficult because
the first one or the second one?
Both of them, but particularly the first one because I was in college. I was 19 when I was pregnant. I was 20 by the time I had him. But I also I was pregnant with triplets at first, and then 2 of them passed when I was like 5 months. And then from the 5th month until I had him at 7 months, I was in the hospital on bed rest. And during that time is when I found out his dad was cheating on me. And so I'm laying up in this hospital. I done went all through what I done went through with this pregnancy. And then I'm laying up in this hospital still, and you over here cheating on me? Like, what the hell? So we broke up then. That started the anguish.
Anger.
Yes, the anger in my mind. And then once I had him, I have a stepfather who raised me, and then I have a biological father that wasn't he wasn't consistent in my life. And so I told him, I was like, I don't want my son to grow up. I know what it feels like to not have my biological dad to be there. I don't want my son to ever experience that. Right. So I'm like, so any like, just at the very least, because I knew we were in college, broke college students or whatever. But I'm like, at the very least, just be present in his life. Yeah. Like, I don't care if you can't
about money or anything,
do something like financially. Yeah. Make sure he knows you and that you are there. Well, that shit didn't go that way.
It never does.
And at first, he was around, inconsistently around. And so my son knows who his father is, but then all of a sudden he just fell back. And I want to say that happened like when he was like 4 or 5.
And it's still like that?
Still like that, still to this day. And I was mad because it was like what you said, I didn't do this by myself.
Right.
And then I'm like, I was mad also too because one, I didn't do it by myself. Two, I told you what I went through as a child. Like, you know. And then also too, you know my situation. Like my mom, when I moved to Austin for college, my mom and my siblings moved back to Baton Rouge. And so my mom was in Louisiana.
So you didn't even have your support like close enough to you. Yeah.
My stepdad, whenever I was pregnant though, he drove out to Austin because you know our parents sometimes can see things that we can't see for ourselves. One day he just popped up at my house and my boyfriend at the time had moved in with me. And prior to him moving in, my dad was paying my rent. And so, you know, man that moved in, and my daddy told me one time, he was like, I ain't finna be paying this man's rent. So he needs to get it together. And so, you know, after like a couple of months, my daddy drove up there, knocked on the door. He said, y'all get dressed, let's go eat. I was like, oh shit. And he have the talk. But we sat down and he told that man everything that he expected for him to be for me and for this child that I was finna have. This is when I was pregnant. And I guess after a couple of months he wasn't doing the things that my daddy expected him to do. He drove back up there and was like, pack your stuff, come on, you coming back to Houston. And that was when I had just lost the other 2 kids, and he was just like, you shouldn't be out there or whatever, just come back home. Come back to Houston where you can be closer at least to the family that you do have here. But I'm like, he knew all of my story, and I'm like, how dare you just leave me out here by myself?
Don't care.
And your kid, like, and I'm like, I'm looking at you. You still able to go to the school that we met at. You still, your life didn't change. You living your life like it's golden, and here I am having to make all the sacrifices by myself.
What I think, and this is something that I expressed to my son's father, and I think that maybe as minority women, I feel like that I have an active father too as well, but I feel like in his side of the family, he grew up seeing all strong, independent women, like single moms. So I feel like in his mind, like that's the norm. Like, oh, you hold it down by yourself, or oh, you figure it all out. I feel like that's all he sees around him. So I feel like that's like the expectation, because like that's his old faithful line. Like, you're a mother.
I literally
why would you not? You're a mother, and I'm like, you a daddy.
You're right.
But
that's
their mentality.
I literally saw a meme. It was like just a meme, but it was like that. It was like, you little boys of single moms watch their moms hustle and bustle and be traumatized and get through it, and they didn't shed a tear, and they're so strong and all this stuff like that. I'm like, why would you then, if you watch your mama do that,
why would you become it?
Exactly. I'm like, nobody who does that wants to do that. They just have to do that.
But we can even talk about like our parents though. I get that we done that, but for me, it didn't hit me until like I was an adult to realize like how much my mama was hustling and bustling. Because at that time, as a child, it felt like a norm. Like, but like now that I'm in the shoes, I'm kind of like, wait a minute.
How the hell did you do all of that?
Yes. But then on the flip side, it's not just so much the father too, because like for me, I can speak for myself. I watched my mom. Yeah, my mom and my dad was together for 18 years. But when she divorced my father, it's like she was hustling. She was busting. So she had 2 to 3 jobs. So I'm like, okay, now I end up getting with a guy like the same thing. So I'm doing the same behaviors my mom was doing. Like I'm strong in front of. I never see my mom cry because
she wasn't gonna do that. Not in front of you.
Not in front of me. So me, I'm doing the same thing with my son. So he go to bed. Now I'm like, oh, in the closet. I'm upset, angry. And then if you try to play it off, the kids know. Right?
They know.
So it's basically a two-way. It's how your upbringing is sometimes, to me personally.
Well, I think like for me, you know, my parents were married till death do you part. Like I said, my mom passed away when I was 14. You could never have told me that I would be sitting here right now and have 2 kids and not have a husband, be married.
Same.
I did not. I ain't see that. I ain't grow up like that. My parents were married. Me and my little sister both have kids, and we're not married. And I used to kind of feel embarrassed about it sometimes because it's not that I can say you do and you don't, like you get raised to do anything, but that's just not the example that I had. And like, I remember when I got pregnant, it was like the biggest deal. Like everyone was so disappointed in me. And obviously they got over it, but like, especially like my mom's mom, she like, she was like, I cannot believe like you have been like this irresponsible. Yeah. And so I carried that with me for so long, and she helped me and stuff like that. But it was always like in the back of my mind that my mom's not here. The closest thing that I have to my mom is my grandma, and she is like, she's from a different time though. She's from a time where when you got pregnant, you either needed to go find somebody to marry you real quick, or everyone was gonna look at you and like
that red scarlet.
Yeah, irresponsible, or you're you know, whatever. My mom, undesirable now.
Right. My mom, I remember her both times when I got pregnant, it was that feeling like, I can't believe that you did this. And my kids are 7 years apart, and I'm like, okay, at that point I'm 27, and But okay, before I got pregnant, Mama used to always preach to me about breaking the cycle, because she had me out of wedlock, and she was like, you have to break the cycle. You cannot get pregnant before you get married. And so when I told her the first time, she was like, I told you. Yeah. I told you. And so I always had that feeling like I did something wrong. Right. I carried it all the time. And then so the second time when I got pregnant, she wasn't happy either, because I wasn't married again. And I knew in my head, I used to be telling myself, okay, I'm not doing this again unless I get married. But the guy that I was my youngest son's father, we were planning for marriage at the time, and we planned our pregnancy because of the time and whatever. We planned it before the marriage or whatever, and I thought that I was gonna marry him, but you know.
Life be life.
Had that baby, and things changed.
Life be life.
Things changed.
Yeah. Can we go back real quick, because I've never asked you this and I wanted to. Now, when you went to that doctor told you was pregnant with triplets.
Did you flatline? Did we come back?
Let me tell you,
because one was enough.
Let me tell you. So in the beginning they do them transvaginal ultrasounds. So this was my first doctor's appointment. I was 6 weeks pregnant. And she was doing the thing, and I'm laying back on the table, and she was like, oh, I see a heartbeat. Wait. And I don't know this is my first time being pregnant. I don't know what's going on. And she was like, wait. And so I'm just listening. She was like, oh, there's two. And so I looked around my legs. I still didn't say nothing. I looked around my legs, and then she said, wait, there's three. I hopped up off that table. I was like, show me.
You alive.
Show me.
Not only did I do this, like I really did this.
Okay.
Like, did it big. The first time.
And I just remember, I was like, what the hell? Why? And I was like, why me? The first time I get pregnant, three babies. But let me tell you something that I didn't understand back then with me losing the other two. I was so, because when you're pregnant, and when you, as a woman too, I was so hurt that I was carrying these kids, and then they passed away, and I couldn't understand it to save my life. But looking back on it, I know God did that for a reason, because I couldn't imagine myself being a single mother with three kids
at one time.
Jesus.
What?
I can't even imagine having 3 kids, period.
No, for real. No, when I date now, when people are like, do you like potentially want to have another kid? I'm like, another what?
One and done.
Who said what?
One and done. And I can't date nobody if your kids are younger than my son, because I don't.
It's like I'm
like
past that.
Yeah, I mean, we need to be able to communicate and understand. Yeah. You heard what I said. You comprehend. It can't be no.
Because what if them kids be disrespectful? That's the part that I can't do.
I cannot stand no disrespectful kid,
Me
baby.
either.
That's why they got to be where we can comprehend. Because I'm gonna make sure you understand. Don't talk to me like that.
Exactly.
I get your parents think that's cool, that's cute, but not this way. Not this way.
I've never really dated I've dated one guy that had a kid, and his son is like perfect. The guy I'm dating right now so we're not to that space yet where we like intertwining kids, but I met one of his kids. He has like he's older. He has like big kids. Like he has
that's how I like him.
But he has a 24-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 6-year-old. And I met the middle one, and it's a girl.
Okay.
And I was so scared, because I remember when my dad used to date his little trollops. When I was in high school.
Now you the trollop.
Yeah. These girls like, ugh. But I was so nervous to meet her, because the other person that I dated that had a kid had like a kid like around my kids' ages, and I was like, yo, she's a teenager. And
how is this finna be?
When you a teenager, you know we don't like somebody. You know you don't like your daddy girlfriend.
They barely like adults.
But she was so sweet. She like hugged me and stuff, and I was like,
oh, okay.
It was so awkward. I was like, I don't know what to do.
You're nice. It's nice.
You say to be continued.
Oh,
yeah, because it was a one-time thing so far. We'll see what happens.
Y'all's kids' fathers, present fathers in their lives?
Yeah.
Is this thing on?
He's his best friend. I feel like I'm the only adult in the whole triad. They're homies. They chat all day, talk about sports.
They chilling.
They chilling, but somebody has the adult. Like I have to call and say, "Did you brush your teeth over there? Did you bathe today?" Like, because if it's up to his dad, he can chill and do whatever he like all day. And like stop eating fruit snacks for breakfast.
Meanwhile, he handed him the fruit snacks.
Both of them had fruit snacks.
They killed the whole lot together.
And that's a whole nother thing.
Get to my house so ghetto. Like, I can't do nothing over here. I'm sorry, you have to eat fruit or some cereal before you have chips.
Right. My kids legit be thinking that my house is like boot camp. And they daddy house is the fun house.
Exactly.
I'm like, child, well, you got to learn how to be a decent human somewhere.
Especially as black males in today's society.
Please.
You gonna learn today, my boy.
Okay.
Yeah, for both my kids' dads are involved. For my son's dad, it took some years, about 5 years. But it, our issues we had, but they're super cool. My son's dad is married. His wife is awesome. His wife takes care of my son.
Love it.
I don't even talk to my son's dad. I just call her because I know she's gonna get stuff done.
Yeah.
Shout out to you. My daughter's dad, he's always been around. We started dating when my son he wasn't even 1. So I feel lucky for my son because he gets his dad and then he gets his stepdad, and they have a great relationship, and I feel so lucky that I get both of them to help me with my kids. My daughter's dad is married now. Don't like that one. But he picks both kids up every weekend, spends time with them, like takes them to church, does everything they're supposed to do. So I tell people all the time, like, I don't have to worry about child support, and I don't have to worry about people picking up their kids. And for that, I'm so happy and blessed because I see people and I don't want to go through that. And I'm glad I haven't had to go through that.
Well,
since you brought that up.
Started off when my son was little. He's 16 now. His dad can do no wrong, right? But just growing up and observing what was going on and him having a voice now. Like, so in the past 2 years, it got a little bit rough for my son, right? So now he's seeing his mom with the disrespect. And so, like, within the last 5 months, my son hasn't talked to his father, right? So I'm a huge believer that you respect your parents, right? But thou shalt not provoke your kids. So I try to be the peacemaker because I don't want the dad to think I'm keeping his son away, but he has some issues that he needs to deal with as a grown-up. So I did something recently for my son's 16th birthday, and I was like, I'm going to invite your dad. My son was like so upset with me because he felt like that was his job to invite him, and the disrespect that his dad did with him, he was like, he's done until he can apologize to him. And I was like, what if he does? He was like, his pride is more than him having a relationship with me. So if I don't care, why do you care if I have a relationship? So I think I struggle with the co-parenting point versus my son. Right now, he's at that age like, my mom done, and you need to be done. He love his dad, but he's tired of the disrespect. So it's like, I tell people that single with kids and they co-parenting, if they got the best co-parenting where they get child support, they pick up their kids, you ain't got to call and cry and ask for that, it's a blessing. Because I do literally everything by myself. Like, I'm here and there, basketball, pick up, go to work from 8 to 5, come home, cook. Everything is been me and him. So it's a blessing to have the co-parent. Do I want it? Absolutely. But I want it in a place where it's not toxic. Because now it's starting to bother my son. So,
but I think like, not that the situation is great, but I think that it's good when our kids make us be accountable.
Yes.
And he's making his dad be accountable. Like, you're doing, like, this is my mom.
Right.
Like, I need you to be accountable for the things you do to her, the things you do to me, like how you present yourself as a whole in this three-way relationship that we have. And if you can't do that, like if you can't be the man you want me to be, then you can't come around me until you're ready to do that. And I think that that's going to and not saying that we should, not talk to our parents or anything like that, but
you have to have boundaries.
You have to be able to set boundaries with anyone, family included. Like you can't do that. And I think that it's good that he knows at 16 what he's willing to accept and not accept, and he can still love his dad from afar right
now. Because kind of like us, like we were saying, we're told not to say anything, and that is one thing I do give this newer generation. They are big on expressing their feelings, setting boundaries, and what they will and won't tolerate. So I think that that's amazing for him. Of like, this is my boundary. This is what I'm not going to tolerate, and he can get with it
and respectfully doing it.
Yes,
it's not like he's going off on him. He just wants him to, you got to meet.
Me.
Yeah.
I have feelings too, and you have to respect me. I don't know. I think our kids teach us a lot, right?
Yes.
And I feel like that accountability thing is one of them that you get to experience as an everyday parent in your child's life. And for those that don't live with their child, I guess to them, maybe it comes off kind of abrasive, like when you like, this is my boundary, because they not experiencing that all the time, every day.
Exactly.
But it is a rewarding thing to be able, because you learn more about yourself. You grow as a person and as a parent too, when accountability is there.
And I think sometimes we forget too, like, our kids have little feelings.
Yeah.
They got little feelings.
But you know what? I feel like when we grew up,
you couldn't have them.
It wasn't feeling.
You better shut up. Do what I said.
Do what I say. Don't talk back.
Don't express yourself.
Okay.
Don't even just saying how you felt was disrespectful for talking back. Don't
you remember you used to say as a kid, "Ooh, they get on my nerves." You ain't got no nerves.
Right. Exactly.
Shoot, I got all the nerve.
All of them.
I think for my situation, so I have two completely different sides of the spectrum. I got my oldest son's daddy, who just ain't there, act like his kid is non-existent. And my youngest son's dad, he's very present, and he helps me out with my oldest son too. Treats him like that's his kid as well. And I'm grateful for that, because that's something that I really, like I said before, I really just didn't want that for my child. Like, who does want that for their child? And so when he came into the picture, before I even had his child, he was like, I'm gonna start taking Prince to school every morning so you could just sleep. There'll be our bonding time. He really stepped in and took on that role, and I was very grateful for that. I mean, so much so now my son calls him dad.
Right.
Like, that's his daddy. And that's been a blessing. Now, sometimes I'd be like, because, with Prince, we was 7 years in this thing with me just making all the decisions. And now I got to consult with somebody. I got to consider you when I make this decision.
Right.
Like, what?
It's two of us in this.
Jesus. And, that can be kind of hard with co-parenting, because it's like you have your way of wanting to do things and then they have their way. And I think for him, he just be wanting to put his foot down and say, this is my child too.
Right.
I gotta say so too. And I'm like, but
it's really
my way is the right way.
Mama knows best, baby.
So
Y'all have like good relationships with y'all's co-parents?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
That
every once in a while.
That part, because some, like you said, like some things are very different. And I know for me and my son's father, we come from very different backgrounds. He is from the street life a little bit different. I come from a kind of well-off family that it pushes education and stuff like that. So some things that I'm like, this is a deal breaker. He's like,
Right.
Like, he does chores at my house. He does not do them at his dad's house. And that's mind-blowing to me. Like, I'm kind of an old school parent. You live here, you got to do something. You better unload these groceries, take out this trash. Like, I'm coming off money and working. You got to do something around this house.
Right.
You got to do some type of physical. physical labor, my boy.
Had asked me the other day, why I always gotta wash the dishes?
Wait, what?
Why I always gotta cook and pay for food?
Hello.
I always got a question back. If you, and
that was me.
I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about it. I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about how all those muffins that you want that it only come 4 in the pack, but they like $5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I still gotta pay for the water for you to wash the dishes and the lights because you're gonna leave the water running.
Right.
Spill it on the floor. I'm
sorry. I have to go to work every day to make sure that you are surviving. Like what? Before
thriving. No, these kids are not surviving. They thriving and act like they live in the ghetto life.
Girl.
If my son can't have Chick-fil-A at least once or twice a week, it is the ghetto to him. Like what? I'm like, I used to only eat McDonald's on Fridays. That was our hangout.
My kids at least once a week be like, why can't we just get Uber Eats? Sir.
He became, can you just DoorDash?
I'm going to need you to go in there and look in them leftovers.
Make it work.
Make you a plate.
Make it work.
Make it work.
Child, my son be spending so much of his money on Uber Eats.
But see, I won't let I keep trying to tell him. He'll always be, I'll buy it. I'll use my money. I'm like, let me tell you what you never want to be, a broke black man in this world. When you get money, you need to learn now how to keep it.
In your pocket.
Not for Chick-fil-A, not for Gatorade, whatever. Like, I'm just like,
I tell
keep
him
your
that
money.
too, but I also let him know, I like to let him experience things. Like I tell you the decision that you should make. You make the decision. Now, if you want to be broke, that's on you. And so he'll spend all his money, then he'll be asking me for something. I was like, no. You see how that feels, huh?
That's one thing about my son. When it's his money, it's a whole different ballgame. We be in Five Below, like he giving away his life savings. Well, this is like $6, but I'm like, you got $50. If that was my $50, you'd be trying to run up the whole thing. Like, are you really over here debating 10?
Right.
Like, what's the issue?
Right.
That's so funny. These children.
They different.
Y'all feel like y'all raised y'all kids how y'all were parented? Or
I don't think so. I think Leon get away with so much, and sometimes I'll be like, call my mom, like, Mama, I feel so bad. She said, why are you feeling bad? I was like, because he's on punishment. And she said, so you feel bad that he got in trouble.
Up and now you have to reprimand him?
I think you're the one hurting and he doesn't care. Yeah. So no, me growing up, my parents didn't care.
I think
I couldn't say nothing when I was a kid. I couldn't say nothing. I wish I would act like I had a problem. Right? My kid, like me and my son literally just got into it last night. It was something about the hands. He kept moving his hands too much. I was like, why do you keep raising your hands? He was like, I'm just trying to show an expression.
Yeah. Put them down.
Put your hands down.
Express your hands into the pockets. Because no, like I wish. I tell him all the time, like, if I behaved how you behaved, I would not be alive for us to be having
would have been taken out.
You would have never been conceived.
You were lucky.
Nothing would have happened. Like,
they don't
you need
get
to
that
relax.
at all. They don't get that at all.
Relax.
For me, my parenting's, it's a little strange because my mom, she was like my best friend. We were like the homies, like how him and his dad are. But my dad was so strict, and growing up, I resented him for that. But now as an adult, I was like, you so smart.
Yeah, you understand.
Like, you used to make me like write out goals all the time. Like, as a therapist now, that's my main thing I push to clients is goal setting. But like, even now, right before school or the new year, my dad will come over, sit with my son, write out 3 goals for the year. And I used to hate that. So I find myself being more stricter, like my dad, and that's why again he has his dad as his friend.
But you see what the benefit was,
right?
Exactly. So I find myself being more stricter, but I'm not gonna lie, especially, and this impacts my co-parenting relationship. Sometimes I want to be fun and not like care, but then sometimes it'd be like, wait, you tripping?
You want to be his friend all the time. I guess I gotta be strict,
right?
Somebody has to parent both of y'all at this point. Like, y'all are both out of control.
It used to hurt my feelings at first with my kids when they used to think that was just so fun over there, and they want to be there all the time. And I'm like, y'all don't love me?
And it's really not that fun over there because y'all all got issues over there. Y'all eating up all these sweets. Y'all lay around all day. Y'all don't work out. Like, it's not
that
cool.
Watch when you grow up.
I literally
play PlayStation all day.
I literally tell my son, like, you think it's fun over there because you're not there all the time. I promise you, if you were there all the time, it would be exactly like this.
Right.
And you would want to come over here. So, I mean, you know, it just is what it is.
My baby boy literally asked me the other day, has Prince ever got a whooping? Have I gotten a whooping? And I was like, child,
if only y'all knew.
Thing. I'm glad you don't remember.
Some of these parents was making you go outside and pick your own switch off the tree and all of that. Child, baby, y'all don't know what whoopings are.
Hello.
I really don't, and I won't say I don't spank because I do, but it's so few. My parents didn't have to spank me because I would have flashbacks.
They put the fear in my heart just by the way they talk and stuff.
So, and I'm like, maybe I didn't whoop my kids enough. And that's why they don't be thinking about the whooping that they had got that one time.
Baby, that one time my son told me, well, you know that I can call the child protector.
Call them.
I said,
vacation. I will put you outside with your bag. Goodbye.
Right. You gonna see what the real ghetto is out there. Go ahead on.
You think you got a bag?
Put you in one of them facilities and you gonna eat them sandwiches and stuff. Ain't no crawfish and crab legs there, baby. I dare you.
At all.
And no Chick-fil-A either. I dare you.
Gonna be hamburger helper.
I remember
every day.
Is that okay? And noodles every day.
And noodles.
It'll be a grilled chicken.
Like, you have quality over here. You are living a well life. That's all I be trying to tell my kids all the time. Like, you got it good.
You live lavish over here.
Luxurious. Right. one of his friends, the oldest, one of his friends often rides home with us. And he was like, man, he got in the car. He was like, Miss Chase, my mama be treating me like a slave. I be having to do this, do that, do all of that, do all of that. I said, child, that ain't no slave work, child. That's what we used to do when we was growing up. And I said, in print,
the norm.
You better listen to this and know that you got it good, okay? Because you be over here complaining about the stuff that I make you do. Shoot, but you ain't outside. You ain't washing the baseboard.
We had everything clean before my mama got home.
Okay, dishes had to be washed.
You better have that chicken out too.
Waking up early with that music playing, get the whole house clean.
Saturday morning.
Yes. I still find myself doing that now. And he be, I gotta put away clothes. Yes.
Who else gonna do it?
I gotta wash no maid. And you the type of person that be like, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell the story right now. And I'm gonna call it. He changed his outfit before we came here. How much y'all bet this outfit he done had on for about an hour is gonna be in the dirty clothes?
For sure.
I'm like, bro, you hoodies, you take them off and after one day wear, you put them in there.
The 10-year-old obsession with hoodies in the heat. I want to know.
Not just the 10-year-olds.
Why does he want to wear a hoodie every day? We live in Houston, Texas. It is not cold.
Well, he say the classroom is cold.
But when you get outside,
that's why I be with that parent pickup line like, you ain't hot.
Right. I bet you must.
I bet you must.
Exactly.
Sweater on under that uniform. I'm like, Lord.
Jesus. Yeah. So how do y'all balance like work and life and all the things that comes with being a single mother?
What is that?
Do not. What exactly? I don't.
Tequila.
I don't.
Tequila again.
I be stressed out about how it's gonna work, but no, like literally, I actually started a new job today. Thank you. Because my boss did not believe in a work-life balance. He literally told me he wants people that prioritize money first, and that I made a decision to be a mom. And he wanted people that he wanted people that put money first. And I'm just like, I have a goal not to like raise kids that need therapy from their childhood. And like, I know it's not realistic for me to think that I can be there for everything, but I'm gonna be there for something.
Yeah.
And so, and like you were saying earlier, I don't know how my parents did this. My parents had 3 girls. We did dance. We played instruments. We played softball. We played soccer. We ran track. We did everything. Not only the expense of it, but how did y'all get us
physically
everything? Like, I don't know how they did it.
I feel like back then there was a bigger sense of community. Like,
parents help, and I'm gonna say that parents help parents. Like, I remember plenty of times, friends, moms taking me home, coaches taking me home, my parents taking people home, whatever. people don't do that now, but it's because they're scared they're gonna get sued or you know, whatever.
Or even like I can even say for myself as a parent, I don't know how they house look. I don't know what they do over there. I ain't just gonna send you nowhere. I need to come in. I need to look around, see what's going on in there.
Exactly.
Who all stay here? Who all is gonna be here at the time that you're here? Like I got lots of questions. So
might as well just stay home.
I might as well do it myself.
I'm a parent like, oh, they can come over here.
Yes.
So my son be like, what is the difference? It's a big difference because it's
here. I know what goes on in my house.
I know what's going on. Exactly.
But I know for me, for balance, that's one of the things of why I've enjoyed working for myself. Because especially once my son got older and I realized how much it was. I enjoy being an active parent, but that comes like while I'm in parent pickup, I'm taking client calls. While he's at basketball practice, I'm taking client calls in the car, but we in that practice. So it's like just figuring out a balance. And I think the biggest thing for me was letting myself know that there's no handbook to this parenting shit. Like, there's no, you have to do it this way when your child does that. So learning to give myself grace. Like, if we do eat Chick-fil-A every single day because my refrigerator is completely empty.
It's fine.
That's cool because that's an extra 30 minutes that we got to spend some quality time together. Or shoot, that I just got to sit and let my brain do nothing because I've been working all day. So it's learning how to like not put so much pressure on myself to be like the perfect mom or the ideal mom. It's like, girl, you know what? He alive. He ain't got no bruises. He ate. Check. We good for the day. Like I had to stop over trying to do it.
I think one of the things that you said though, as far as you working for yourself, I think that people are pushing us to like work for ourselves or figure it out or finding it. Like I had to find an employer that believe that I can do both, that I can be a parent and also be a great employee. And when you can't find that, then you have to like start creating lanes for yourself because it's like, what am I like? This is not.
Can't give up being a mama.
Yeah, no,
we can't even take a vacation.
I literally had a boss that told me I had to choose. I'm like, I cannot because my children have to survive. But are
you trying to pay me enough to where I can get a nanny or do something extra? Like, what are you? What you trying to do for me?
No flexibility, none of that. I just was like, this is not something that like I can maintain. Like I'm not gonna be there for my kids. Like it's not that deep to me. I'll figure it out.
If this job, I don't understand people like that.
But that's one thing even when I was working, I was going into interviews with, and I was luckily able to find jobs that allowed me to like bring my son to work with me. I worked at this one nonprofit where they had like a summer camp and like after school and he could go there. So like I've always lucked up with jobs, but even in interviews, like that used to be the first one. Well, I'm a mom, and
I tell you remember when people used to tell you not to say that. I lead with that now. I need you to know I'm a mom. I'm a parent.
That's my first and I'm gonna go to title.
I'm going to stuff. I'm gonna be there.
Right.
I need you to know that. So if you can't handle that, please like kindly send me on my way to go be successful somewhere else.
Because when I put in a request to go to the muffins or something like that, I don't need you to be like,
I'm going. Do you want a muffin when I come back?
What kind would you like?
What flavor?
Right.
How do y'all keep y'all sanity? Like, cause you know it's
self-care.
a lot.
I'm big on boundaries. Like, even like small things, like parents, you can judge however you want. For like after a certain time, like it's cool if you go to your room and I just stay and we don't commute. It's okay. Like I know you alive. You're at the age where you could feed yourself. Like if I just need some time to decompress or be to myself, like just please don't talk to me during these times. And I'm okay with it.
I've had to start just allotting time for myself and like I hate working out so much, but I want to be fine.
Girl, the struggle.
But I have figured out like me going to the gym has turned into my me time. Like I put my earphones on. I listen to my music. I feel like I'm solely doing something that benefits myself. And I usually go for like an hour and a half. And I started looking forward to it just because I know I don't have to worry about nothing else that nobody needs. I don't have to think about nothing that nobody needs. All I need to do is like listen to my music, work out, I sweat, and I just feel better when I'm done. So, and I go out to eat. You know, I go out to eat by myself all the time. Like, just people be like, "Oh, you always go out to eat by yourself. You should invite me next time." I'm like,
I gotta wait for you. too. Sometimes sitting in complete silence.
I want to talk to you.
Okay.
I
want to talk to you.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Child, it's like that for me with the movies too. Like I've been like, you gonna go to the movies by yourself? Yeah, because I want to see this, and then I don't have to talk to nobody.
Be talking during the movies. Mommy, what is
no commentary?
I'll be
right.
Please be quiet.
I'm trying to figure it out too.
Even them grown-ups, I don't even want to talk to them during the movie. Like, just let me just be.
And I know sometimes I find myself coming home from work and I'm still sitting in the car like 30 minutes later. Like, I'm gonna get up, like I'm getting together to go in. It's like, okay, get up, go. But just finding that time for yourself is very important.
So important. I from the beginning, I always was very structured with like the timing for my kids, so they always had bedtimes. Because I felt like at the end of the day, I needed some time for myself, so I could prepare myself for this the next day. For the next day, it's like if I didn't have that time to myself, I think I would be driving myself crazy for sure. Because it's like you don't really get a break unless you just make it.
Yeah.
And
100%.
And for me, I'm so grateful that my kids are 7 years apart. And so now sometimes when I pick them up from school, if I just had a day and I just need a minute, I can be like, Prince, can you just watch your little brother for a second? I need to, let me just take a nap or let me just have some time to myself for a second. And he doesn't mind at all. He keep him busy.
But her 7-year-old you swear he's 17, but he's 7.
No,
maybe 71.
He's good. He's a good kid.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I'm grateful for too. Because
kudos
my kids are a blessing. Like they are easygoing except for this whole teenage phase, which my son doesn't give me a hard time. Like I feel like we went through that attitude and everything when he was like 12, 11 or whatever, and I just had to get him straight and let him know I'm not playing with you.
One good time.
And he got it together, and he cool. But it's just
I'm waiting on that day. My one good time.
Child.
Baby, I'm a shine. I'm a shine. I'm a shine. You gonna remember this day.
I've been waiting for this.
He gonna be at his wedding giving his speech and be like, I'm the man I am today because one time when I was 13 years old, my mama threw me through the wall.
I knew not to do it no more.
I even have to be play wrestling around with him, just let you know your mom got them hands like this.
Period.
That one time you think that you got it, I don't care how big or tall you are, I'm gonna bust you down.
Okay,
right.
My kids are so dramatic too. Prince one time that I had to get him together, I grabbed him by his shirt and I was like, and I'm like, look at me. I had to look him straight in his eyes. Girl, afterwards he gonna tell me, you punched me. I punched you.
If I punched you, you would know. You wouldn't be talking right now. Okay, I didn't punch you.
I just grabbed your shirt aggressively.
You gonna know when I punch you.
Oh Lord, I'm like, child, please.
If only y'all knew. And that's the thing. Back in our day, that was light. That was like a warning. That was like a warning.
Would you remind your parent they punched you? You'd be like, dang, I don't want this to happen again.
Okay, no more.
I want a little tissue. I'm sorry. I think I ran into your hand. Like, my bad.
It was my fault.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are y'all most proud of yourself for with being a single mother?
For me, I'm most proud of getting myself through school with these kids.
Yeah.
I when I went to law, thank you.
Yes,
when I went to law school, I had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I did not know what I was doing, how I was going to work, how I was going to do it. I just knew I had made a commitment to do that, and I wanted to give my kids something to be proud of. And I told them when we went to law school.
Okay.
Because my kids have spent plenty of times up at that school. My professors knew my kids. My professors have watched my kids so I could take tests and everything. And I just wanted to get through it, and I want them to be able to see that so that they know that you can do whatever. You can figure it out. We can figure it out. We'll always figure it out as a family, whatever. And so I'm glad that I get to be a representation like that for them. And my kids were so proud of me.
And that's a great feeling.
Yeah, and I just want them to always be proud, and I just always want them to, like, whatever you want to do, I just want you to understand that we can do it. We'll figure it out. And so I'm really, really, really proud that I could show them that. So,
yeah. Proud of you too, girl.
That's major.
I don't know how you did it.
I know people don't know how you did it. Law school with no kids.
She did it.
I don't know. I do not know how. I don't even remember any of it. It was a blur.
Glad I don't have to do it again.
Never would do that again. Right. Do not recommend.
What about for y'all?
For me, I guess like to see my son to date where he is, because I know for me, my son started off with like a speech delay. He had some attention deficit disorders, but now we're in the 4th grade. He's a straight A student, amazing at basketball. He just a little talk back too much, but you get that honest from both his parents. So I think for me, that was like my biggest accomplishment, to being in the schools, advocating for him, making sure that he's getting speech in school, outside of school, just seeing kind of today where he is. And it's like sometimes I have those moments where like, you know what, you're kind of doing this. Like where it's like I go to the award ceremonies and he's getting all these awards. I'm like, oh, like you just act a fool at home.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my
something
God.
is actually sinking in. Like I must be doing something right, because sometimes I'll be like, bro, who's raising you? Like, you're wild. So, just to have those moments to see like him developing himself and actually like succeeding, for the best that he can. So I love it.
Yeah.
I know for me, the same thing like with you. My son was, sickly, when he first was born. He had to go through early childhood intervention because they felt like he wasn't talkative. He had major surgeries. But just to see him where he's at today and me being able to say, man, look at my son. It feels good, because I was always worried about, okay, is he going to be accepted? I can't, go to work worrying about him being in daycare, somebody mistreating him. Like my mama could have watched him. But just for me to still have a job that I just currently left, but it was, but I was on that job for 15 years.
Okay.
So, but to still be able to take care of him, a sickly child, going to work, I don't know how I did it, made it work. But just to see him now, like having a voice, because I was always scared about, I'm not going to always be there for you, Leon. Like you have to find your way. And lately he has been finding his voice, and I'm like, okay, I need you to
told you about that.
I wanted you, but I need you to go ahead and take it down a notch. But
not
just
too
to
much,
see, a woman raising a young man, right? It feels good, right? And I tell them all the time, it doesn't mean you have to be in the same household for you to become a man, right? It doesn't mean you have to be with a male figure, father figure for you to become a man, right? So, but just to see his growth and him getting back in church, and now he's my calm, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
And I feel like for me, and I guess we could all kind of relate to this, sometimes even when I see my son like beating statistics, because especially just being a black man, it made me just be like, you know what? We beating the system halfway.
We did it. We doing it.
Exactly. So it's just like seeing them beat some of those statistics. Like, he gets awards. Like he's the only, like, it's only 1 or 2 little black boys up there. I'm like,
Pat yourself.
I did that.
I feel like as moms, we all suffer from like mom guilt, and then also with being a single mother, having to work and then having to parents, is like sometimes you don't feel like, you don't know for sure within ourselves, like, am I doing enough? Am I doing the right thing? But then when you get those, like when your son receives awards and you see them progressing, or you hear something that somebody else has said about them, you're like, oh, I am raising these little humans, right? Because I'm always like, I be feeling like, I never feel like I'm doing enough.
Right.
But then when I hear somebody say like, oh, they're very respectful and they doing, doing very well, I'm like,
sometimes I'm like, I'm glad
let me
you
take
act
a
right in
deep
public.
breath.
It's not that bad that you can act up at home. So.
But I think it's important also, too, I wanted to end this with saying it's important for us to give ourselves grace.
We have to.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure.
We can't do everything. Superwoman, all of that. We gotta give you
and y'all doing a good job.
Hello. That's what I'm saying. We need to start realizing we're doing a lot better than just the minimum. We're doing amazing.
We're doing a hell of a job.
Sometimes it just be he alive, he ate, he made to school on time. Amazing.
I kept this human alive.
Yes, I kept check. Did an amazing job.
Because what's going on in the schools now, it's like, woo, dodge that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank y'all for joining me today.
Of course, thank you for having us.
This was nice. We didn't even get to all of the topics because, once we get to talking about
being a single mama is a
It's so much.
You saw as soon as we walked in the room, we was already like, girl, you
I feel like that video with that lady saying, boy, we had a time last night. I feel like that's life.
Right.
When we get older and our kids are grown, we'll be like, boy, we had a time.
Life was definitely a time.
It was a time.
Yeah.
I also want to thank y'all for joining us every week. Make sure that you tune in on Mondays. I also want to let y'all know the Dear Mama Mother's Day brunch is approaching May 13th. You can get your tickets at dearmamabrunch.rsvpif.com. I only have a few more tickets or seats left, so get your tickets now. Once again, thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for being here. Make sure y'all rate, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let us know what you think about this episode or if you want to keep the conversation going. Until next time, we out. Bye, y'all.